Good evening and welcome. Chris Upton in the house and Sue in the background. Secret Sue in the background. So we have 13 people in. And here we go. Another night of entertainment. Right. What do you want to know? Fire away. Ask those questions. That's what we're here for. 21 people in the house. Hope you've got a drink. Hope you've grabbed a drink. So, let's have a rundown. Let's see who's in the house. Kieran's first in the house, even though can't say stay full time tonight, but enjoy all the same. Good evening, Kieran. Good evening, Chris. Good evening, Simon. Good evening, Matt. Good evening, Steve. Oliver. Good evening, Oliver. Good evening, Peter Taylor. All right. 23 people in the house. Not one question. Honestly, I've just given you so much information. You don't need me anymore. You don't need me anymore. Well, we just got back in. We've just had the pups microchipped. They're going tomorrow. So we've raced off and raced back. Had a couple of lessons today. 1 3-hour lesson and one person for an hour. And nice to see Harley Quinn, said Andy Stead. Can't keep up on Patreon. Wow, you have not half given us some content to watch. I've got loads more to put up as well. But it's time consuming and it's getting them out there. But yeah, I mean, it was nice to see somebody here who was willing to have the videos, let people put up the videos about, let the people see the videos about them, and it's going to help a lot of people out there, and I appreciate that. Peter Taylor, thanks for your constructive comments, Chris, on the video I sent you yesterday. No problem, Peter. That's my job. That's my job. That's what I'm there for. Right. One of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, as we've got no questions at the moment, is someone was asking me, they were telling me about the problems with their dog, and could I take it in for training, and could I have it in for 5 weeks and sort the dog out for them? I don't do that, unfortunately, because I've realized over the years that you're wasting your time, because if I put 5 weeks work into your dog, that dog's not going to retain that. It's difficult enough when people send me dogs with problem after problem after problem, and I have to turn them around in the what we call 10 weeks for basics and 20 weeks for fully trained dog. But guess what? If you send me a dog with not retrieving, not coming back, not listening, learn to play you up, it's going to take me a lot longer, and that's just one of them things. If you don't mess the dog up and you do exactly what I say, and you've got the dog carrying and coming back in, hopefully, with the retrieve, then I can do it in 20 weeks. It's as simple as that. But let's ask the question, fully trained dog. How old is a fully trained dog? I would say 3 years old. Would you agree, everybody? 3 years old, but before you can call it fully trained. And yet you see dogs all the time for sale, fully trained dog, 13 months of age. 13 months of age, has it been on a shoot? How can it be fully trained? You need a year under your belt before you can say this dog now knows what it's doing, a fully trained dog. Yes, you can have a dog part trained. Yes, you can have a dog to a reasonable standard. But if you want to get a dog to a level that is going to be well and good in the field, then I say 3 years. 3 years work. Well, you imagine you've got dogs, you're putting the work into these dogs, and what I'm saying to you is it doesn't happen overnight. It's as simple as that. It doesn't happen overnight. And when I take in problem dogs, people's dogs like Darcy, Dougie, who's very, very immature, then I can put a foundation into them dogs, but I can't guarantee those dogs are gonna be ready as shooting dogs. Sometimes you have to say to people, I will do my best with your dog, but I can't guarantee that you're going to end up with a good dog at the end of the session. But what is the percentage of dogs making it with me, 99.9%. But guess what? That doesn't mean they're going to make top competition dogs. No way at all. So if people think that you can turn a pig's ear into a top competition dog, you're dreaming. You're absolutely dreaming. And it's important for you to understand that the time and the commitment that you've got to put into the dog, and even if I train that dog for you, if you don't know what you're doing, that dog will revert to doing what it was doing before. If you've conditioned it and you try and send me a dog of 12 months old that's completely not doing anything it's told, or a dog at 2 years old that's learned to get to play you up, then some dogs come back no problem at all. And some of those dogs, because they've not had any discipline and you've given them a little bit of leeway and they've got a bit of spirit and they've got a bit of drive, they're the easy ones to train. It's the ones that have got no drive, no desire, just headstrong to do what they want to do, but there's no bond between the owner and the dog has just said, you do everything for me, and that's the way life is. To change those dogs around is hard work. I enjoy it, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it, but I can't guarantee that those dogs are going to make it every time. But if you bring a dog to me with not many faults in it, and you've done what I've asked you to do, and you produce it to me at 8 months to 10 months of age, that's the dogs I can get into straight away and start training big time. Because the other ones that aren't retrieving, it takes me a longer period of time to get that into those dogs. So Christopher says there, look, most definitely 3 years plus, a couple of seasons in the field to iron out a few things if needed in your training. Dead right, Chris. I've won in competition with 16-month-old dog, 18-month-old dog, or 18-month-old dog, I think, 16-month-old dog. But that is a novice trial, not an open trial. An open trial is more advanced, and at the end of the day, to win an open trial, to win a novice trial, you can win a novice trial with a very novice-y dog that's doing everything right, but doing the basics right. And then you can spend a whole summer putting the advanced training into that dog and working on that dog right through then for the summer to get him ready for open stakes the following season. And especially if you take him on a shoot that season, you give him that experience. Many people who win a novice trial have not taken their dogs on shoots because the dog can start becoming what we call trial wise or shoot wise, right? And the dog can start thinking for itself and not listening. The idea is, I like an all-round dog that does it all. Good evening, Jay. All right. Right, Andy said, how are you? And John Griffins, good evening to you. So we've got 44 people in here. 10 thumbs up. Excuse me. Rosines, I can't even pronounce it. Bloody wine went down the wrong way. Rosine's video was a fantastic watch. That is the advantage of Patreon. You can discuss all aspects. We get to learn all parts of the training, and Gundog loved it. Yeah, and I've got another probably 30 videos, 20 videos to go up with about while she was here. We did a number of things with the dog, and you'll see a number of different things. It's just I've been very busy today with customers and puppies, getting them ready for tomorrow. They're going off tomorrow, so we've been out and had them microchipped, ready for tomorrow. Is she looking to work the dog on a shoot? I'm not 100% sure. I think she'd like to work the dog on a shoot if she can got the time, but it was an eye-opener for people on Patreon to see about the dog behaviorist report. If you really watched all of it, some people just flick through the videos and only watch the stuff they want to watch, but it was one of them videos that if you did sit down and watch it all, it was quite interesting. Hi there, what age did you start training your pups? Could someone answer that for Luke, please? What age would you start training your pups? Let's see if you've anybody's got any understanding. Good evening, Robert. Come on, help him out here. Let's see if let you answer some questions, and I'll put you right if you're not. What age do you start training your pup? 8 weeks. Katie Upton, hi Simon. Katie Upton's in the house. Hello again, it's me. Oh Jesus Christ, I'm being stalked by my own daughter. Been stalked by my own daughter. Well, she's in my good books today. She brought me around some walnut whips with the walnuts on this time, not whips. And if you, Susan's nicked them. Susan's freaking nicked them. She nicks them. She nicks my walnut whips. Who remembers walnut whips when we were kids, eh? Walnut whips. Used to bite the nut off, save the nut till last, didn't you? Bite the top off and lick all the whip out of the. Here we go. I'll show you. Look, remember these? I used to love these as a kid. You see why I'm a fat bastard, can't you? Look at them, look, walnut whips. Who remembers those Nestles walnut whips, eh? Hey. I love walnut whips. There you go. Something kinky about a walnut whip, isn't it? Licking it out. Sorry. That didn't sound very good. Pups training about 8 weeks. I've seen tennis ball at 6. There you go. When you get it home and with gameplay, well done. Walnut whips. John didn't know what walnut whips was. Honestly, he's too young, that boy. He's too young. So, wasn't it nice that Peter Taylor sent us a video of Harley Quinn? And wasn't it nice that Harley Quinn was coming in and not running around him? But see the little things that matter. The dog was jumping up, and you will need to stop that because it becomes habit forming, and then the dog starts jumping up trying to grab the retriever out of your hand. It's just one of the things you don't want to do. But those little things, get those right in the early stages, and you have a better dog for it. Be sending them out when you run out of squirrel skins. Yeah, you'll be getting them for prize. Tonight's prize is a walnut whip. Or just a whip. If it was, imagine it was, what's that advert? It goes, and this is a dark chocolate, but it's not. It's milk chocolate. Milk chocolate with a nut on top.
Lorraine said they used to have a walnut at the bottom too, though.
Did they? How old are you, Lorraine? I don't want to talk about bottoms, thank you. I don't want to talk about walnuts on your bottom. So there you go. You condition the pups from the start. So there's your answer, Luke. You start training the dog from the start. But when we say training the dog, I've never had a nut below. says Michael.
But you send the knockoff ones out as a prize without the nut on. He knows what you like.
Yeah, they know what you like. So like I say, Luke, there you go. But what I don't do is I don't use discipline. I don't use correction. And yet, as soon as you start using correction and discipline, you start suppressing the young pup. And I want to see a young pup's natural ability. So I let that pup be a pup. But you start it off at a young age, as in building a foundation. And the foundation is you want the dog to carry the ball. And that's what my pup videos have just been showing people, how I get the pups to carry the ball. And I keep that up, and they don't know anything else other than carrying that ball and coming back to me. It's as simple as that, carrying that ball and coming back. And we build it up from there. And the more you give a dog, if you give it toys and you give it slippers and you let it carry everything around the house, all of a sudden those other interests take over. And the idea is that ball wants to be my ball, but I give the dog the ball for 5 minutes, or half a tennis ball for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I play a game with the dog and I build that up, because that's the most important thing, the gameplay, to build up with your dog if you want to get a good social bond between you and the dog. And then we start using discipline at a later stage. And the skill is knowing when to use discipline, And the nice thing is the videos on Patreon that we're showing discipline, it's showing how fast the dog reacts, and you get a better dog because the dog looks up at you as a leader. It doesn't fear you if you do it at the ages that we're doing it to these dogs that are coming in now at 16 months old and they're just beginning to push boundaries. You're seeing the dog responding so much better at that age, where if you were doing it at 12 months of age, sometimes you could knock them back too much. And that's what we were talking about Jay's dog, about giving him time to grow up and develop rather than put pressure on him. He can't cope with pressure at the moment. I've tried giving him a little bit of pressure, even at the age he is, and he's a big gangly fool. And so at the end of the day, we can't put that dog under too much pressure at the moment. We've got to keep building the desire. If we don't build the desire, he's not going to be worth training. As simple as that. But how do you know you can get the training into him till you've got the desire into him? And like I say, on the very odd occasion, and he's one of them awkward dogs, they just don't make the full grade, and you have to compromise. but that's the price you pay if you buy into these small gene pools of breeding. Sometimes you can be okay, and other times it can be a bit of a nightmare. But it's like some breeds take longer to mature, and it may just be that. But I've never trained one before, and I took him on understanding that he had a real problem, and we had to work on it. And that's Jay's given the best start, and I take my hat off to him for that. But I can't work miracles. If the dog's not got it, the dog hasn't got it. And do I want to write him off at this moment? No, I don't. I want to give him another couple of months. But at the end of the day, time is money. But Jay and me have discussed it, and it's down to Jay whether he wants to just let that dog stay with me and see if we can get the best and get anything better out of him. We've definitely got more control with him, but at the end of the day, he's still not got that desire that we're looking for. And if I put the suppression on him now, we were all talking about this, about the rabbit pen. When would you put the stop on this dog? And I left it for you all to give your comments. And the idea is, if the drive, let's just say halfway across the screen here, the drive is there. If we put the stop on him now, the drive will come down to there. If we allow the drive to go to there and put the stop on him, when we put the stop on, the drive will come to halfway down. If we allow the drive to get right up there, with his nature of the dog, it may be too much for him to cope with the pressure because of his nature, and we may not be able to get him back down to there. So what we will do is be able to get him to there, but he may be too much of a handful for Jay. So the idea is we play around with it, but I can't motivate a dog that's got no ball drive. I can't motivate a dog that's got no desire to want to chase. We've got the desire to chase now. He didn't have the desire to chase at first, other than when it suited him away from me. Then now he's got the desire to chase and come back once he's broken away from it in the rabbit pen, and the desire is coming up and up and up, but it's a slow process with that dog. And so you can't pull the wool over people's eyes. You can't say to them, yeah, this dog's going to be great, this dog's going to be fine. You have to say to them, look, you're taking a gamble with this one, but what have you got to lose? Because if he doesn't make a good gun dog, at least you want good manners in the house, else he's no good to anybody. If you can't take a dog out and take it off the lead because it doesn't listen to you, what's the point in having a poor dog? It's not a very nice life for a dog, is it? And that's what I'm saying to you. That's why it's important for me to be totally honest with people and say I can only do my utmost best with the dogs. A lot of people might have said, you're wasting your time, don't go there, you've just got a pet that's going to be a pain in the arse. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more than that for that dog. But sometimes you've got to give them time, and that's why I was saying it takes 3 years to get that into the dogs, to get the training into the dogs. And if you try and rush it, you ruin the dog. It's as simple as that. And some just take longer to mature, and others, like I say, I've had dogs before at 6 months old look fantastic. At 13 months old, they've gone backwards slightly because they were early learners but then went backwards. Okay, demonstrator took both my labs out just to free run together the other day, and they did not listen to recall. Got them back, put them individually on the lead line and recall. Perfect. So I learnt my lesson. There you go, Denver. There's an old saying, never take out 2 part trained dogs. Take out a fully trained dog with a part trained dog and it'll help him. Take out 2 untrained dogs and they will mess you around.
Can you answer Lorraine's?
I've been watching, is that the one? I've been watching another.
Everybody's confused.
I've been watching another trainer on YouTube briefly, and he's teaching the cocker to spit the dummy, to spit the
dummy.
I don't know what you mean, Lorraine. Sorry. I've been watching another trainer on YouTube briefly, and he's teaching the cocker to spit the dummy on the sit.
He's asking the cocker to spit the dummy out on the sit. So.
Right, a bit confused.
Then pick it up and retrieve it to on the recall whistle.
There's some strange people out there, Lorraine. It's a bit confused about why, and so would I be. A dog that's bringing it in and handing it to your hand, you're laughing, aren't you? It's the ones that spit it out that you want to you don't want that problem. But then if you watch some of the American trainers, they'll bench train a dog and they'll bench train every dog to force retrieve it. So it has to hold it and pinch the ear and make it hold it and make it a dominant thing. You can train that way, but I like a dog to want to do it. And some dogs will do it naturally without any hassle at all, and then other dogs will drop it, and you have to tidy that up later on and not make too much of it. Now, some of those dogs tidy themselves up with a couple of weeks of training. Others that you need to literally make them hold it. But if you had to make every dog hold it, I can't see any point in that myself. Not complaining about the chocolate then, Dad. No, not at all. Very nice. I'm glad you're confused too. Hampshire Spaniel training, Lorraine. I'm glad you're confused. Hampshire Spaniel training.
Michael McLaughlin said, unless the editing was good, it was amazing how Roseanne's dog responded to correction.
I didn't see that one. I bet that.
2014.
I told you I've got no time up here.
Oh, right. Well, it's then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up from Lorraine's.
Unless the editing was good, it was amazing how Rosine's dog responded to corrections. The nice thing about that, Michael, is if you watch the sit down and she was talking about the dog being assertive to the two daughters in the house when they're coming down the stairs like elephants, I think she said, like loud on the stairs, and the dog was getting very territorial and being possessive and slightly human aggressive. The report from the dog behaviorist I thought was an absolute joke, because let's look at the true aspects of this. That dog came into my environment, into my yard. He had a high tail action. He was cocking his leg and peeing everywhere. That is not the sign of a dog that's nervous. That is a sign of a dog that's full of himself. Some of my dogs, and I don't know if some of you people are the same, if you show leadership, my dogs don't cock their leg for the first 2 years of their lives. They don't cock their legs, and they definitely don't go around marking on everything. I find that dogs have taken over, doggy including, is one that was marking everywhere, and you have to get them out of that. And you can get them out of it, but it's a testosterone thing, isn't it? It's a dominance thing. It's tail in the air. I'm marking this spot. I'm marking that spot. That's why I don't recommend taking dogs to parks where other dogs go and other bitches, because they get what we call bitching or sniffing or dogging. And dogging in parks, we mustn't talk about dogging in parks. This is not out there for children. We've got this listed. It's only for adults. So listen, go and ask your mum what dogging in parks means. What I'm saying is, it's important that when people see a dog that is unbalanced, they can see the dog has got those traits. That is not the sign of a nervous dog. That is not the sign of a dog that is insecure with itself. That is a dog that is come into a strange environment and said, hey, what's this place? I can smell other dogs. I'm going to mark it here. I'm going to mark it there. So I disagreed with the report straight away, and yet I didn't see the dog in her own environment doing what it was doing with its dominance. I saw a number of things that made me think a little bit of discipline with this dog is going to bring the desired down slightly, that she doesn't need to worry about that, because she's already got the drive when the dog ran in and wasn't listening, right? And I thought the dog's got enough drive to put the control into the dog now and show some leadership at 16 months of age. Now, if a dog behaviorist has never give discipline, how does a dog behaviorist know that discipline works? If you're a behaviorist, you're supposed to have studied those animals and studied training. Well, if you're giving out that every time the dog gets aggressive, put a muzzle on it, take it out, reward it for not reacting, don't reward it for reacting, but don't get angry with the dog, and don't get this and don't get. I just listened to the report when she was reading it out, and I thought, this is ridiculous. Now, this report was given without even seeing the dog and assessing the dog in a number of different scenarios. This was just seeing the dog from a couple of videos in the home environment because of the lockdown. Now, to pay the money that she's paid, and you people on Patreon, I think she does say this on how much she's paid. She's not doing it. We're not naming this person. What we're doing, we're trying to highlight the fact of there's so many people out there. And I was talking to my vet about it today. And you know what my vet said? well, there's gullible people out there, they'll get caught like that. It's not their fault, is it? If you think about it, if you're classed as a dog behaviorist and you're a vet and you've done a 6-week course on dog behavior, does that make you a dog specialist in dog training? No. So what I had to do with that dog, we had to give it some discipline in a fair way, and I had to see the reaction from the dog. And the only thing that I could really say that I wish I'd talked a little bit more about, so I'll talk about it on here, is if you've got a dog, and any of you got a dog, and you've allowed that dog to take over and you start using a little bit of discipline, that dog may turn and just be a little bit assertive towards you to say, back off. Remember who's in charge here. And at that point, you've got to be able to step up and say, no, that's unacceptable. Don't do that. Now, you'll get dog behaviorists telling you you should never, ever discipline a dog that's human aggressive, because all it will do is a barking dog or a dog that's snapping and biting won't give you no warning like they're giving you. They will bite. Well, I'll disagree there, because I've dealt with thousands and thousands of dogs, and dogs that have taken over and dominating the owners. With a little bit of discipline at the right time and showing the leadership, you can turn those dogs around without all these tablets, without all these psychiatrists they've got to go and see, these dog behaviorists, and all these people who are going to take money off you week in, week out, and give you a course of reports to read and try and work out. And that is the problem. As soon as I open my mouth and I say anything on the internet, instantly anybody who does anything to do with dog behaviorists calls himself a dog behaviorist. Well, what am I? I'm a person who studied dogs' behavior, and I'm a person who knows how to change the mindset of those dogs. And we were talking about this today. In 35 years of dealing with dogs and giving correction, and years ago I used to give far more correction than I give now, discipline wise, I've been bit 4 times, and not badly bitten, except I've had to unhook the dog's teeth from my arm when people have used e-collars and fried dogs with e-collars who don't know what they're doing. But never have I had to give, when I give a correction to a dog, as a dog climbed up me and had a go at me in a serious way. And if they did, then you've got a real problem dog on your hands. But I have had dogs that will redirect to me to say, back off, I don't like that. And at the end of the day, I have to step up and say, no, that is totally unacceptable. Don't go there. But very few, very, very few. And what I'm saying is, if I was being bitten or dog snapping at me all the time, it would tell me my training is not right. But what happens is, if I don't think I've ever had one of my own dogs that I've brought up from puppy 8 weeks old that's ever been reactive towards me for any discipline I've ever given. And I'm not just saying that, people, because if I was having a record of dogs that would turn and become human aggressive because of using discipline, I wouldn't be teaching you discipline. But the important thing is I keep saying to people, if your dog has got those traits or has shown those traits, the correction's got to come through the leash and not through the scruff of you grabbing the scruff of the dog. You know, because at the end of the day, if you don't know what you're doing, and I know what I'm doing, but they've caught me, like I say, on 4 occasions in 35 years, that is a very, very low amount of dog reaction in that time. That proves that dogs can take discipline, and they will listen to discipline, and they will avoid the negative and work for the positive. But these idiots don't want to talk about the 95% of fun-based training and the gameplay and how much of a bond we build first. But if every dog that came in the gate, if I went, right, I'm going straight in there with discipline, I would have a confrontation with so many of those dogs, because those dogs wouldn't know how to read me. I need those dogs to learn how to read me. And then once I've read the dog, I know how much discipline you can give it, whether the dog showed any signs of reacting, whether the dog got the message, and I know by reading the dog and reading the situation. At no point did I think that Rosalind was in trouble, eh?
Because Michael Mallockton said, did Rosalind's dog turn at any point?
No, not at all, Michael. Not in the slightest. And that's what I'm explaining. So If that dog was had a genetic problem through nervousness, that dog would have shown signs to me in the field with me giving correction or Ro giving correction, and the dog didn't in any way. If anything, he lowered his head and surrendered, and we'd rather have that than the dog coming up the leash or when she grabbed hold of the scruff. All I'm saying is, my word of advice was, if you're going to give a correction in the house through the long line, because the dog is going up, heading towards the stairs to be dominant to the children, then the correction's got to come through the leash and not close quarter. Not close quarter, because the dog is in his home environment. And if he was in this environment and showing as much dominance as he was in his home environment, that could be where he's trying to take over and dominate even more. And there you have to show leadership without getting into a confrontation with the dog. And that's why many a time you actually heard me say to her, put the line on the dog and do the correction through the line. But I meant to give a little bit more feedback on that, not because the dog had shown any signs at all of dominance in aggression wise to me or her with what the dog did, but you're going to really enjoy the videos that we went through, because the dog did go wrong in the woods. And I'll tell you where it went wrong is the dog has worked out, if she wants the dog to come back and he doesn't want to come back because he's enjoying life too much, and she gets the lead out and says, come here, on the odd occasion he stands back and says, no, I don't want to come in yet. He'll pick up a stick and run around the wood with it. And at the end of the day, she said, that's the problem. Look, that's what he does every now and again. He gets in his head that he's not listening to me. And she's calling him and calling him. I said, no, don't call him. Don't call him. And we will show you how he got over it. But we will show the Patreon customers and Patreon customers only. Why? Because at the end of the day, like I said, I've come to the conclusion that I was speaking to someone today, today or yesterday, I think, regarding my YouTube videos. And they work for YouTube, and they're in the office of YouTube, and they were telling me about the policy of YouTube. Now, I had 5,500 videos out there, and anybody who knows anything about computers will know that that's a lot of memory storage. Because I did not monetize my site, I wasn't making any money for YouTube. And other customers dog people have monetized the site. But because I had that many videos out there and that much of a following and 3.5 million views, they'd not made a penny out of me, YouTube, because I hadn't monetized it. So there was no adverts on there. I was giving it to people for free, showing people that I'm so cheesed off with the system of dog training that they say that discipline doesn't work. And I wanted to prove that discipline did work and leave some history there for everyone to see that no matter which crazy way the world goes with dog training, and they're trying to push that positive and positive only, I wanted to leave some history, some knowledge that, yes, we have used discipline in the past and we still use discipline and it still works, but in the manner that we use it, and that we've evolved forward with the knowledge and understanding and education of how to train dogs. And sod everybody else what they feel. There was the evidence that it works, and there's the customers that have spent lots and lots of money with other dog people who are so-called positive and positive only people. Sorry, I was reading something at the same time there. Sorry, speedy recovery, Pierre. Sorry to hear about your eye injury, Pierre. It's edge cutting, branch cutting me inside the eye. Just waiting for it to heal. Catch up with you all later. Yeah, you got off to bed and have a cocoa. Honestly, I thought he was a man. You know, we got two eyes, haven't we? For Christ's sake, Pierre, you big wuss. Honestly, next time I see you, I'm going to give you a kicking, mate.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got something in your eyes.
Honestly, I'm going to use some freaking origami on you. Call yourself kung fu experts. Honestly, I thought you Midlanders were men. No, it's Nottingham, though, isn't it? That's the problem, isn't it? Nottingham. Peter Taylor said, I asked a question about correction through the lead at 2012. I keep telling you, there's no freaking clock up here. Okay, we'll go back to look for everybody's questions. Oh, Sue's on the boil.
Yeah, I knew you've got that one to go.
I got Kieran. He's wrote an essay here. Kieran, if you get on Patreon, do your own work on it. you will end up with a
One
dog.
below.
Sorry?
Peter's is one below.
Oh, there we go into that one then. If you go on Patreon, do your own work on it, and we'll end up with a dog of relatively good standard. May not be champion, but it will get a better standard than most of work are hard for. Exactly. Thank you, Karen. And that's the whole point. And so I've decided that the Patreon site that I'm going to show you a little bit of discipline, and at the end of the day, it's not there for the whole world to see, because there's too many snowflakes out there, and they can just fuck off. It's as simple as that. Peter Taylor, hi Chris. Had Harley out when we got the van. He made when we got to the van, he made a beeline to it and wouldn't come back. I put him on the lead and took him back to the spot where I asked him to come back. Did I do it right? Hang on, I'm gonna read that again, Peter. Honestly. Hi Chris. Had Harley out when we got to the van. He made a beeline to it. Hang on, I thought you got to it. You mean when he saw the van, he ran back to the van and wouldn't come back? I put him on the lead and took him back to the spot where I asked him. Yep, no problem at all. Just take him back. But you've got to make it slightly negative and just keep saying, come here, and then let him go again. But don't forget, you've already said, Peter, you've already sussed it. He's a nice, soft dog. He's not going to be like your cocker. If you go into him like you may have had to with the cocker, who a lot of these cockers have got this headstrong, stubborn way, you could knock him back rather than thinking, okay, at this point I'm not going to make much of it, but I'm going to now start putting him on a long line and ask him to come to me. If he doesn't come to me, I'll start to bring him in. It's going to test his feet. At what point are you going to start to train him? Like I said to you, once you've had him for a month, then really start to think, have I seen enough drive in him? I haven't seen enough drive in him yet to say put the stop on him. Not myself. But can I see a reasonably happy little dog? Yeah. But if you get into a fight with him and you get into, just putting the lead on him and taking him back isn't going to teach him nothing. So if you put him on the lead and bring him back a little bit firmly, say, come here, and then let the lead go, let him go, and then say, come here and drop down, and he comes in, then praise him and give him lots of praise. That's the best way to do it. One of the difficult things is everyone thinks they can just ask me a question and I can answer it. If I don't see the situation and I don't see how far he pushed the boundary or how far you expected him to be better than he was, and I'm talking about any dog, not just Peter here, then it's quite difficult sometimes to give advice. It's dead simple to say, look at a video and can you critique the video? Yes, you can critique the video to a certain extent, but like the dog behaviorist videos that was sent of the dog behaving in the environment of its home, how do you know what it behaves like outside the home? How do you know what it behaves like? Is it dominant in its home environment and then nervous? If that dog Harley Quinn was nervous when he was here, then guess what? I'd be addressing the situation different than I'd be addressing the situation there. Today, for instance, we've had a lovely lady here. She came before. She's a teacher for dyslexic children, children with learning difficulties, I think. Is that the right word, if I get that right? I've asked Sue, but she didn't answer me, but she's been playing marbles on the M1 or something.
Sorry, what did you say?
See, what did you say? This is the problem, see, when people don't listen to you.
I was multitasking and I failed dismally.
Oh, she was multitasking and she failed dismally. Oh, dismally, not drizzly. It's not drizzling, is it? Anyway, so Pete, so we answered that with Peter's one, did we? Yeah, like the lads say, sign up to Patreon. It's interesting, better than any magazine. I used to like Playboy, Top Shelf magazine, so that's a bit different, isn't it? Sue you, Simon, no chocolate, but they're just talking freaking chocolate. I'm not talking to them. She was multitasking, pulling faces, look. Unless that was it, done that one. By the fun, honestly, they're on about this freaking. Good point, well said, Sue. I give in with you. Look, honestly, you're having a freaking separate conversation. I'm having to read down here.
It's all to do with your walnut whips. Honestly,
curly whirlies. What about curly whirlies? I love curly whirlies. I don't eat much chocolate, but God, if it's here, I eat it. I eat it. Should we do a prize? Should we send it in the post? Eaten. Okay. So, any more questions on here? I don't know. So, that's exactly what I did. Responded well, to be honest. Well done, Peter. Well done. Yep, you're right, Karen. But the city cowbag didn't realise this. I don't know what they're talking about. Generally, I would have to give it up. Give up. I never bothered. We didn't find you on YouTube, and they would have believed. Oh, thanks, and thanks for in Scotland. There you go. That's what we're talking about. No problem. I was just saying, Karen. Yeah, and the nice thing is, it's not that we get results on the odd occasion. We get results on a regular basis, and we get, I got professional trainers saying you can't learn how to train a dog on the internet. Well, some of you have done a freaking cracking job, and when you've come here, if you get the Chris Upton handshake, it means you've got the Chris Upton handshake. It means you've got a freaking good dog with the virus and all that shit. No one's getting a handshake at the moment. It's a and that's what it's about, isn't it? So what I'm saying is, I listen to some professional trainers, and they say you know, and I follow these trainers and listen to some of the stuff and agree 100% with some of the stuff, and they turn around and say, you can't. Another dog doesn't teach another dog. Well, sometimes it does. It teaches good habits and bad habits. If you've got a dog with bad habits, it will teach bad habits. You've got a dog that's good, a young dog will follow that dog to a certain extent. If a group of dogs, you can't teach dog with a group of dogs. Well, hang on, how would you know if you've never had a pack of dogs that are balanced, and then you bring a naughty dog into that pack? People have seen it time and time again where my pack will actually balance and help that dog learn the boundaries, because the dog doesn't it sees the pack as a happy environment, but something not to be challenged. Cesar Milan talks about this. A lot of people like Cesar Milan. A lot of people don't like Cesar Milan. You have to put your head above the chopping block, don't you? Above the parapet, and say it the way you see it. I'm only trying to help people who are willing to give correction. If you're not willing to give correction, you're wasting your time following my methods, because I put that much drive into the dog and fun based into the dog. The dog's going to want to have some drive and desire. That's the idea. If you've got a dog and you suppress it from day one, and I see this so many times, sitting dogs on place boards and boring the shit out of them, they may look lovely at 6 months old, but guess what? They burn out, and you don't realize how many of those dogs go down the road. Now, how many of you people on here would get rid of your dog and move on to another dog if you couldn't get the training right? Let's just have a little yes or no on here. So would you get rid of your dog if you were struggling with the training, or would you live with that dog no matter what it was like, because you've made that decision to have that dog? I bet you most of you say yes, I'd live with a dog. Now, if you're commercial minded and you're only into making money, so many of you people would say, yeah, get rid of it, get another one, because you're chasing that dream. But the average person that I deal with would never get rid of the dog, even with the problems they may have to live with. So it's the matter of getting the best out of the dog with what they've got. And that's nice. When people come to me and I say to them, right, okay, would you take £1,000 for the dog? Would you take 2,000? Would you take 5,000? I wouldn't sell this dog if you offer me 100,000. I find that difficult, but I think it's wonderful. Keep the dog, and that's the whole point. And the bond that you people have got with your dogs proves that you love your dogs. The commitment. If I commit to a dog, I'm 100% committed, and they will stay until they die, no matter what circumstances. There you go. And that's the whole point. But the difference is you still willing to give discipline to get the dog right. And I think the challenging and getting over those slight problems, and most of the problems are put in by the people, not the dog. Most dogs become what they are because of the lack of understanding from the owner, not the fact the owner has neglected the dog. But most of these problems with these dogs out there, and I'm not just talking about gun dogs, I'm talking about general dog training, is they've been overloved and spoilt. They've not been treated like a dog. They've treated them like a fur baby. And I got no problem. My daughter treats her dogs like fur babies. Like, unbelievable. She has them on the settee. They've got a wonderful relationship. But they follow her. That's really important. To get that dog to want to be with you is half the battle. When she goes out with a number of dogs, they'll all follow her because she treats them like the kids.
But she's still quite firm with them.
But she's firm when she has to be because she's seen it through me and doesn't take prisoners if they push the boundaries. And that is where you get a happy balance. The biggest thing I can say to you is if you give a command, it's got to be followed through. It's as simple as that. If you give a command, it's got to be followed through. If you're in a situation that you can't give that command, or you give that command and you think the dog's not going to listen, don't give it. The dog's not ready for it. Outthink the dog. Lady said today, she came here, she said, if the dog comes across something that's not ours, and he found a ball the other day, he wouldn't give it up. He raced in the house with it, jumped on my husband's lap, and wouldn't give it up. And we kept telling him. Eventually, he dropped it on my husband's lap, but he wouldn't listen to me in the slightest. He was a little bugger, right? And what did I say? What did you do? And I said, do you know what I would have done? Well, let's ask you people. What would you have done if your dog found a ball on the walk, came in with it, wouldn't hand it to you on the walk, came in with it, went into the house, jumped on husband, and wouldn't give it up when told? How would you get the ball from the dog without causing a problem? Pressed his gums into his teeth and opened his jaw. Put my hands back of his mouth and said, dead. Keep going. Come on, let's have some more. Take it off him with a lead correction. Honestly, you bastards, you're all letting me down now. I'm not doing a good enough job for you, look. Come on. Distraction. Julian bloody Lees. Thank Christ for that. Get your tits out. Stop it. That was a joke. Get Robert to ask him nicely. Get Robert to ask him nicely. Yeah, Robert. Depends on the age. Give him a treat and go, good boy! If I had something else or another, spot on. Chris DeVille, top of the man. The dog is obsessed by the ball. So take a ball out and throw it. He's going to race out. He's going to drop the ball that he's found because he's going to want to do the retrieve that he's obsessed with. Then you can take the ball off him because he's bringing back the ball belongs to him. It was a new ball. He was being slightly dominant. Simple as that. Threatened to throw him over a balcony. You lot of bastards, honestly.
That's got to be the best one.
That's never. That Robert's never going to live that shit down, is he? I see he's gone really quiet, isn't he? Especially when I put up the Caprice video and you all freaking slagged it. I thought it was fantastic. And I thought you were dead right, all of you. I think your comments were fantastic. But guess what? We can do that without upsetting Robert, can't we? Or upsetting his fan base. Because his fan base sees that and they think that's fantastic. You know, absolutely fantastic training. That's why it's so frustrating for me as a professional dog trainer. It's so frustrating to see these people selling this false ideology that everything can do done with kisses and love and affection. It just amazes me. I wouldn't part with the dog, Chris, and thanks to you because you have been amazing help. Thank you, not the tables, Carlos. And you know that's exactly what we've done. We've changed so many people's dogs' mindset by showing. Only joking. Thank Christ for that, Simon. Honestly, John Wayne, freaking honestly, he's got John Wayne on his mind, doesn't he? Get off your horse and drink your milk. I'm only joking. Haley Cartwright. Haley Cartwright.
Karen, it's obviously.
Anyway, when we sorted out the next seminar, came up on memories yesterday. Do you know what?
Gosh, what's
It's sad, isn't it? This time last year, I was on my way up to Scotland, and then the wheels fell off the bus. Yeah. Do you know what? I don't know what I'm doing this year because of all this crap that's out there. We've asked about the rabbits. There's not as many rabbits up there. You think there would be, wouldn't you? With not being anyone around. So I don't know what's happening this year at the moment. I honestly don't. And time is flying, and I've got dogs in for training. I just don't know what to do at the moment. I've been that busy. Robert Jeffrey, if I wanted a perfect dog, I'd have to part with my wife and kids first. If I wanted a perfect dog, I'd have to part with my wife and kids first. Do you know what, Robert? You're dead right, because the wife and the kids can be such a distraction, and yet they can also build a strong bond, a social bond with the dog, can't you? And yet they can be a distraction. Keith Erlandson used to say the best situation is a man on the side of the hill with his dog and him. The next best is the missus and him, and then the children, and then more dogs and cats and guinea pigs and all that sort of stuff.
You have a simple question.
Hayley Cartwright, one of the best days of my life. Generally, it was absolutely epic. Do you know, that's really nice of you, Hayley? Really nice. And it's nice to see that Kieran's got somebody who follows him around and looks after the pups. Honestly. No, do you know what? That's lovely. That's the one thing I've always missed. You know, my wife would hardly ever go anywhere with me with dog training because it's not her cup of tea. She's not really been a great fan.
You realise that's Kieran speaking, don't you?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is, because his phone is died and he's now on Hayley's phone.
Thank you. You know, Hayley. Thank you, Hayley. Really nice of you. Honestly, Hayley. It was so nice to see you as well, Hayley. It's nice to see a good bit of Totty at these demonstrations. Young Totty, I'm on about. Young Totty. They treat him like a fur baby. Yeah, exactly. And that's the compromise you've got. But if you just ignore that, and then when you're out with the dog, you get the dog to do what you want, it does work. It can work. It can work. But you have got those distractions. It's like Darcy's family. Lovely, lovely people. All love the dog. Thought the dog was going to be here for 10 days, not 10 weeks. Thought I could do everything with that dog in 10 days. And at the end of the day, you've got to be honest with people. Are they enjoying what they're seeing? Yeah. But do they wish they had the dog back now? Yeah. Do they want to go on holiday? Can we take the dog with us on holiday and then take it back to Chris? Yes, sure. That'd be a great idea, wouldn't it? No, it wouldn't, honestly, because I'm beginning to get somewhere with her. And she's enjoyable because she's a stubborn little cow. And I enjoy stubborn little cows. That's why I married Sue. Not everybody could handle her, honestly. You think she thinks she's putty in my hands, but no, honestly, you wouldn't know.
They soon send me back, wouldn't they?
Yeah. If I wasn't committed to Jax, he would have gone a long time ago. Don't you just love cockers? You've just got to have a sense of humor owning a cocker. As simple as that. If you haven't got a sense of humor, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time because they've got such characters. They are thinkers, aren't they? They are thinkers. You're better looking than Kieran. Thank Christ you said that, Simon. But each to their own, honestly. Honestly, I see Kieran with his top off more than I see Hayley. He's got his top off all the freaking time. Okay. Get Robert to ask him nicely. Get Robert to ask him nicely. I don't know what they. So Julian, you were right there. Julian, another lady. Honestly, you can pull him. Honestly, he's a puller, isn't he? He's a ladies' man, that Julian. I gave her a squirrel skin last time she came down, and we used the squirrel skin today. She said, "Have you got the squirrel skin? Have you got the squirrel skin?" She says, "Because I love the squirrel skin as much as the bloody dog loves the squirrel skin." Julian, honestly, they sit there stroking them. They do, purring. You know, see that? Remember that Big Brother with that bikini?
Yeah.
They just sit there stroking their squirrel skins. It must be the shape, Julian. You must do some round ones. Honestly, Julian, you'd make a mint if you could make them vibrate as well. Hey, don't go giving them any ideas, you lot. Unfortunately, I've not heard anything from Ray. I just thought I'd let you know, everyone. I have contacted him, left messages. I've not heard anything. No one's come back yet. But like I said, last week we were told that he was looking a little bit better and making recovery, but they said it's not going to be a quick recovery. But yes, we are all thinking about him. I have sent him a couple of messages to tell him to get out of his bed and stop messing around. But he's not answered in his usual joyful self. We would be lost without you and Sue. There you go. Why, where are we going? You got me worried now, Simon. You got me very worried. So come on then. We got 55 minutes. You got 5 minutes left. 49 people on here and 24 thumbs up. It's very quiet night this night. It must be football on again, or someone. Yep. Yeah, no, you're the one do the dishes. Eh? Honestly, she's just a distraction, my woman in the background, isn't she? She used to say freaking nothing. I liked it when she didn't talk. You lot used to listen to me. Now it's the Sue show, isn't it? I don't know why she doesn't sit here. It's the bloody Sue show. I like the fact that you give her the support to come out of herself, because with all the shit we've got, she just went within herself, and that was horrible to see, everyone. Horrible to see. We talk about depression and we talk about people who can't cope with things in life, stress. You lot of people, you nice group of people have give her all the confidence to have a bit more confidence and come back out of her little shell and stick her head above the parapet on the odd occasion. She never comes over here and says thank you to you all lot, but she does really mean it. Sue, we all love you to bits. There you go, Julian. I tell you, he's a nice bloke, and he's a smooth little sod, isn't he? I tell you, he's clever, isn't he? He's clever. You know, honestly, I reckon if I went to the school disco with him when we were kids, I'd never have pulled. He'd be pulling his squirrel skin out.
He's a smooth operator.
Smooth operator, Sue said. You're a smooth operator. Denver Skinner, you told me to put the stop on both labs. Going very well. Thanks. There you go. Well done. Until they cleared off. They weren't listening to you today. But yeah, Denver, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's with a Labrador, you can come down sooner and put the stop on the dog, and you get a better dog for it at the point that you've got enough drive with the retrieving. Honestly, Paul Jarvis, we love Sue. Honestly, it's getting ridiculous, this is. It's like the bloody Sue show, honestly. Honestly, I'm going to video her snoring, and then you freaking say, how do you live with it, Chris? How do you live with it?
Holly's on raw food now.
Without fail, Peter Taylor, I put Holly on raw food now, Chris. There's a lot less crap to pick up. Without fail, you've got a lot less crap with raw food. It's great, but when you've got as many dogs as I've got, it's not feasible. Really. Richard Greer. Oh, I thought it was Richard Gere. She used to love Richard Gere. Hi, Chris and Sue. Officer and a Gentleman. Honestly, she used to look at him and just blank me completely when that was on. Always, Andrew. Always enjoy listening while at work, Chris. With hope you're well and all. Thank you very much, Andrew. Not the same without Sue. I'm just getting freaking jealous, you lot. Honestly. Somebody sent a flower the other week. I changed the card and said it was from me. Or just told it now, haven't I? Honestly. Right, so is that it? 58 minutes? You've got anybody want to ask a question? There's not been many questions. And like I said, I did Sunday Patreon on Sunday, and there wasn't that many questions. I just think you just all want to piss up. It's Haley now, haha, to be honest, Chris. I support him in absolutely everything he does, and he will always be there for whatever way he chooses to go. I know I joke about it, but he knows I will stand by him. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Well done, you two. And that's what life should be, isn't it? Standing by each other. And now, can we all finish off by stand by your man?
Do you think raw food is better to feed then?
Stand by your... Oh, sorry. I thought we were going to finish off on that. Now somebody wants to ask me a question. Peter Piper, do you think raw food is better to feed? Yes, without fail. And I'm sponsored by CSJ, but as value for money, and I'm not just saying it, easiness. But yes, you definitely get more crap with cheaper dog food. With the more expensive food, you don't get so much crap. But yes, I think raw food is the best you can give your dog. So there you go. That's 59 minutes and 48 seconds. I'm counting you all down tonight. You know why? I've worked my bloody arse off today. But it's been like that all week, actually. And I'm going to sit down and relax with my darling wife, and she can tell me how wonderful I am. Like maybe you've all told her how wonderful she is tonight. So there you go. Bollocks to you lot. That's Chris Upton signing off. And I feed for less poo. There you go, Richard. Very nice. That's shit happens, doesn't it? That's the problem. You can always tell by the viscosity. You know, you stick your finger in it, and you know, if you do that, and you do that, and it's still got a little bit left on your finger, then you know the viscosity of the poo is so much better. Some dogs eat poo, and somebody said to me, "Why do dogs eat poo?" And someone says, "Because you feed such cheap food that they're looking for pedigree chum." You hear so much crap, it's unbelievable. So good night, bollocks to you all, and thanks for tuning in. And perhaps next week you might ask some freaking questions and test my knowledge and my understanding, rather than me just waffling all night because no one has asking many questions. All right, so thanks for tuning in. Hello, Sandra. I didn't see you sneak in there. You're very quiet. You are, Sandra. Honestly, you're always there, but you're very quiet. And anybody who wants to see me on Sunday live on Patreon at 8:30, if we're still here. I hope you all are. Steak for tea tomorrow, then. The dog or me? Catch you later. Good night.